Okay, loving yourself. That means you have to figure out what it is that's loving the self. Right? What's actually loving the self? Who's doing what loving? That's the difficult part. Your brain says, well, I love you because you do this for me. You've acted this way. You're achieving this way. It looks at your history and says, well, you're lovable. Or it says, well, you're not lovable. And then the third chakra has its, either excessive or deficient quality. But loving the self means you have to come to terms with a much deeper issue in the heart. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. And we have misinterpreted that so drastically. And those of you, and the rule keepers can all just raise their hand and say, I know what he meant. Right? I know. I think, and I see everything, and so I know who I am because I think I know who I am. But he wasn't talking about that at all. He was talking about the soul. I is the soul. I think. When the soul thinks, I become real. When my brain thinks, I become a bunch of facts and figures. And there's no life here. He didn't mean my conscious mind ramblings. He meant when the soul awakens to the fact that it knows how to think through a human body, and you are able to perceive that. That's loving the self. The love of the self, the thing that loves, has to be the consciousness, has to be the heart and the soul. Your mind doesn't know how to love. Doesn't have that. It's one of its qualities. It doesn't have emotion. It doesn't have a connector quality. It has a judgment quality. Its job is to judge and survive. The heart. So the heart, when it links up and remembers that I think, therefore I am, is the soul thinking. When the heart loves, you're loving through your soul. Your soul is the part of you that loves. And we're going to discuss how that works and why the other chakras can't. They don't have the function. Carolyn Mace talks on, when you read Carolyn Mace or listen to her, she talks a lot about you have to figure out what chakras you love through. Do you love in the first chakra because they're taking care of you and it's safe? Do you love in the second chakra because you get controlled, or you get to be in control, or that there's money involved? Do you love in the third chakra because they're an appropriate mate? We're about the same beauty. We have about the same income. We're about from the same family. We're about from the same, Is it a, third chakra is marriage of convenience. We meet each other at sort of this self-esteem level. None of those things are love, but they parade as love in our culture. Do we have spiritual beliefs, the upper chakras? We both go to the same church. So the other chakras can meet and do all kinds of amazing things, but they don't love, not because they don't come through the heart. The heart is where you have to integrate all. The other chakras will want to love just their way. That's the only thing that counts. In the heart, every part of the person has to be okay. You have to accept that a person is a whole. There is no way, all those 12 levels, that's why I always play those 12 bowls. All 12, not just the 7. I play all 12 bowls every time because you have to understand. There are 12 aspects of who you are. 12 levels of your consciousness. And the more you realize that there are 12 levels of your consciousness, you realize that you probably only interact with most of the people you're in relationship with only at 1 or 2 chakra levels. And so you can only really heal them at 1 or 2 chakra levels, which doesn't heal the whole system. You have to be able to perceive an entire system and how it blocks or how it's open or how it works. So at the heart level, loving yourself, that's a tough one.